Hello, Patrick Bartlett here. Welcome to The Loft and another one of my video podcasts on wine and food. Today we're going to be talking about how to pair wine with food. I frequently get asked by friends, acquaintances, and people I just meet on the street who know I'm in this business, how to successfully pair wine with food. So I thought I would put together this little video podcast today and kind of explain survival practices, since I'm not yet available 24 hours a day to answer questions while you're out shopping. Maybe in the future, but not yet. So what I'm going to do is take 3 white wines today and 3 red wines, and we're going to talk about these principles. So when you're out shopping next, you'll know what you're going to do. Let's start with the whites. The first one I picked in our little mood wine store today at the Loft is a Chenin Blanc Viognier blend. I picked this wine because I want to show you the principle of contrasting or harmonizing, because this is a very fruity, slightly sweet, aromatic wine. So if you were to do something that was complementary, it would have to probably be something, you could do a salad, maybe with like a curry chicken or something like that, with grapes and things in it, and that would work very traditionally. But what's fun about this is it's a great contrasting wine to spicy, hot foods because of the sweetness and the fruit and the aromatics. They create like a cleansing balance. So it's always a great wine to see on a menu that has Thai food or Chinese food or spicy Indian food or spicy Middle Eastern food, like Lebanese or any of those kinds of spicy, saucy foods. This is a great contrasting wine because the flavors harmonize and create balance. The second one I picked is Chablis from France. The Chablis is what we know as the Chardonnay, and it's not what the Chablis were of our California days back in the 70s and 80s, God forbid, because that wasn't even the same grape. This is the actual Chablis from Burgundy, France, and they don't make their wines using oak. It's all steel fermented. If they do use oak, it's usually a very neutral oak that they put the wine in just to soften the mouthfeel. But these wines tend to be very mid-weight, very minerally, not overly expressive, but very balanced. So they like food that's the same. So I consider this to be a very complementary wine, not a contrasting wine. So it complements the same for same. So find foods that are like grilled chicken, like grilled fish, like lightweight, maybe a light pork tenderloin that wasn't too heavy in its seasonings, that works well with this wine. Shellfish. This is a wine that really complements its foods and plays the game together. The third one I picked is a Sauvignon Blanc. They're more aggressive, they're more bodacious. They oftentimes have a lot more tropical notes, citrus notes, grassy notes, herbaceous notes. It's definitely got a lot going on. So this wine can go either way. You can either complement it with like for like, let's say it works. One of the few wines that works with asparagus because of the green notes in it. The asparagus has those kind of green, kind of bitter green notes, and they work together and they complement each other. Or it contrasts really well. That's why, again, you'll see this a lot of times on Asian menus because its clean, bright crispness works well with the citrus and the acids in those foods. The greenness of the foods, the cilantro, the lemongrass, again, the kiwi, the tropical notes. They all work well as a harmonizing contrast, this wine. So of our 3 whites, that's what we have. We have a contrasting, we have a comparing, and then we have one that can go either way. So now that we're done with our whites, let's move on to the reds. So I picked 3 red wines today in different weights to show you the same examples. The first one, a Pinot Noir. A Pinot Noir, if you're shopping for this wine, and now we are at the Loft with Mood Wine, and the Pinot Noir is more of one of the classic middleweight wines. It's going to like for like. It is a it's a comparative wine, so complementary. You want to complement it to the food that you're going to be fixing, not trying to contrast it or harmonize it because it works better with comparative. So for instance, it likes middleweight meats. It likes sauces that match the wine. There's cherries in this wine. There's mushrooms in this wine. There's sometimes a little bit of figs or currants maybe in this wine, but not heavy. There's some spice sometimes in this wine, maybe like a nutmeggy kind of spice. So think about all those things when you're preparing your food so that they harmonize with this, okay? Then, like for instance, the classic to me would be a pork tenderloin braised and served with dried cherries and mushrooms that were sauteed and poured over the top of it. It's beautiful with this wine. Second wine is a Bordeaux blend, which is a Cabernet Merlot, Cabernet Franc blend, classic in Bordeaux and also in California as a heritage, or I'm sorry, meritage wine. I have a client who actually has a heritage. And this wine loves, again, more like this, like the Pinot Noir, it likes to be like for like. It likes to complement with the flavors because it likes bigger meats, darker, richer flavors, but it doesn't like things that are real spicy or things that are real aggressive. They'll overpower it, but things that are real rich and dense, it loves. So like a filet mignon with a green peppercorn sauce is fabulous with this wine. The third one I picked is definitely my harmonizer or contraster. Because if you were to match this Barolo, which is one of the biggest wines in the world, with food, you'd probably be cooking with licorice or tar or some of these. It's a big aggressive wine from northern Italy. And so to me, what works beautifully is if you find a food that can harmonize with it and tame it and bring out all the beauty in the wine as well as the beauty in the food. It becomes a foregone conclusion. So in northern Italy, they like to serve this with risottos, with gnocchis, with cream and butter-based food. So you think this one of the biggest red wines in the world goes with a white dish, and that's beautiful. Fettuccine Alfredo with lots of butter and cheese and cream. Loves this wine because it tames the tannins. So let's recap. We've talked about two different concepts today in wine and food pairing. We talked about complementary, which is basically complementing the flavors of the wine to the food, and we talked about contrasting. So when you're out the next time looking at wine, or you have a dish you want to make, or you have a bottle of wine you want to match some food to it, try to find out what you can about the wine. If it's a wine that doesn't have extreme flavor profiles, try to match the food to the wine because you don't want to compete with it. So if it's, let's say like we talked about the Pinot Noir or a Cabernet Sauvignon, they're structured, pronounced wines, but they don't have something that's like, wow, black pepper, or wow, grapefruit, or wow, gooseberries, or wow, tannins. They like foods that kind of what I call become in all wine pairing a foregone conclusion, where the food and the wine don't compete, but where they actually dance together. So when you're looking for foods that contrast or harmonize, you're trying to find things that sort of create the balance by bringing the two sides together. And those are the overly pronounced wines, like fruit or aromatics, or the big citrusy wines, or the big super tannic, dark, inky wines. You want to find foods that are going to basically help tame them and bring out the best in them and create harmony. So those are the two basic principles. So let your taste buds guide you. Think in your head, gee, would I like these flavors together? Do I think that the acidness is going to be killed by the sugar in this? Do I think that the softness of this is going to be overpowered by the dark smokiness of that food? Then it's probably not a good pairing. So trust yourself. This has been fun. Thanks for joining me today in the loft. And join me on my blog at www.patrickbartlett.me, and we'll keep talking about food and wine. Have a great day.